Welcome to iTVLK.
Now it's time for iTVLK lessons.
This is a collaboration program with the Department of Education Central Province.
Bonjour. Ça va? Vous allez bien? Hello, children. My name is Nimasha Kulasinghe, and I'm working as a teacher at Mahamaya Girls College, Kandy. So today, we are going to practice comparatives in French language. So when we are talking about comparatives, you may wonder what comparatives are. So comparatives are normally used to compare things. For an example, in English, if we take the adjective pretty, so you can add er and at the end of this word pretty, and we can say she is prettier than me. So that is in English. But how to do this in French language? So if you can see my screen, here are all the comparative forms there. So in comparatives, in French language, we can have four types, like les comparatifs avec un adjectif, les comparatifs avec un adverbe, les comparatifs avec un nom, et les comparatifs avec un verbe. That means we can compare with adjectives, adverbs, nouns, and verbs. So we'll go through the first one, les comparatifs avec un adjectif. So comparer avec un adjectif. So children, just have a look at this picture. There you have Paul and Jacques. So we'll try to describe these two people while comparing. So the adjectives I came across to describe these two people are grand and petit. So how to compare with grand? My adjective is grand. So for that, we need this structure, because if we are talking about the superiority, we have to use plus, inferiority moins, and equality aussi, plus adjective plus que. So this is the format you have to follow when you are comparing with an adjective. So we'll have a sentence: Jacques est plus grand que Paul. Jacques est plus grand que. Plus grand que, look at the structure, plus, adjective, que. So there, Jacques est plus grand que Paul. That means Jacques is taller than Paul. Taller. In English, you have only one word, but see, in French, you are having plus grand que. Now, we'll talk about another sentence. Paul est plus petit que Jacques. So Paul here, as you can see, Paul est plus petit, smaller, plus petit que Jacques. So the structure is very much important here, plus petit que. Then, look at this picture. There you have Matt and Rose. So we'll compare these two kids as well. Matt est aussi grand que Rose. We are talking about the equality, equal heights. Rose est aussi petite que Matt. Now, there I have highlighted the E at the end, petite E. Why do you have E at the end, children? Because you should remember the adjective lesson. When we were talking about adjectives, can you remember we had to agree with the gender and the number? We didn't do this in English, but in French we have to do this. We have to agree with the gender and the number with adjectives. So that means here Rose is feminine. In that case, you have to agree with the gender of Rose. Rose is feminine. So we have to have E at the end of the adjective. So that becomes petite. So since we are comparing with adjectives here, we have to remember that rule. If you are using an adjective to compare, we should agree with the gender and the number. So I thought of giving you two more adjectives to describe Paul and Jacques. They are content and lourd. Content means happy, lourd, heavy. How to compare with these two adjectives? So look at my sentence. Paul est plus petit que sorry, Paul est plus content que Jacques. So if you can see, it is visible. Paul is happier than Jacques. So there you are comparing with the adjective content. Jacques est moins content que Paul. So Jacques est moins content que, that is, we are talking about the inferiority. Then we are talking about the box that they are holding, the boxes. So la boîte de Jacques est plus lourde que la boîte de Paul. Jack's box is heavier than Paul's box. So heavier than, the structure we use is plus lourde que. And even here, children, can you see the E at the end? That is because la boîte is feminine. So that is why you have to agree with the gender of la boîte. You are having E at the end. Okay. Another sentence, la boîte de Paul est moins lourde que la boîte de Jacques. The other way around. Okay, we'll talk about the exceptions now. Here, when we are talking about adjectives, we have to be very careful with two adjectives actually. We call them irregular adjectives in comparative. So the first adjective is bon. Good. Why they are irregular? Now we'll see. I have compared two things here, fast food and nutritious food. So my sentence is, l'alimentation saine est plus bonne que la malbouffe. So l'alimentation saine means the healthy food, and la malbouffe, that is the fast food. So here I have compared with bon. Okay, our normal structure is plus bon que. But we have to remember an exceptional part here. What is it? Plus bon que. Their plus bon does not exist. Instead of that, we have to use the adjective meilleur. So with meilleur, can you see, children? I have added another E at the end. Why? Because l'alimentation is feminine. In that case, I have agreed with the gender of that. That is E at the end. So meilleur, I have given you the four formations. So meilleur, you have, since it is an adjective, you have masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, and feminine plural forms. Okay, that is only when it is superior, like you cannot use plus bon. Instead of that, it becomes meilleur. La malbouffe est moins bonne que l'alimentation saine. Now I'm using moins bon, the inferiority. I'm indicating the inferiority. So there are no problem. You can use moins bon. And even with aussi bon, no problem. So here my sentence is, les fruits sont aussi bons que, but only exceptional thing there you have to learn was, plus bon does not exist. Instead of that, you have to use meilleur. The other adjective is mauvais. With mauvais, here I'm going to compare Gerard and Laurent, these two kids. So with these two kids, I have given you a sentence. Gerard est plus mauvais que Laurent. Gerard is worse than Laurent. So even there, according to the structure, it is correct. But since this is an exceptional case, you cannot use plus mauvais. Instead of that, you have to use pire. Worse, pire. You have a single word for that, pire. Even that is an adjective. So even there, pire, you have four formats. If it is masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, and feminine plural. Okay. So that is the second exception we have to remember. Plus mauvais becomes pire. See, so the other sentence, Laurent est moins mauvais que Gerard. So there are no problem. You can use moins mauvais. And le frère de Gerard est aussi mauvais. Equality. Equally bad. Now I'm talking about Gerard's brother. He's equally bad as bad as Gerard. So they are aussi mauvais, no problem. You can use that format. Only problem was you cannot use plus mauvais. Instead of that, you had to use pire. Fine. So now we are going to compare with adverbs. So earlier we compared with adjectives. Now we are comparing with adverbs. So you know, children, what an adverb is. Generally, we are describing an adverb, a verb with an adverb. So I'm going to compare these two animals, le lapin et la tortue. So the adverbs I'm going to use there is not only one, there are two, rapidement and lentement. So this is the structure you have to follow. Just like adjectives, you have to follow the same structure, but here you are using an adverb. So my first sentence is, le lapin court plus rapidement que la tortue. The rabbit runs faster than the tortoise. Okay, plus rapidement que, faster, right? Then the other sentence, la tortue court moins rapidement que le lapin. So that is the inferiority. Then, la tortue court plus lentement que le lapin. I have used the adverb lentement, slowly. Then, le lapin court moins lentement que la tortue. Here, you just have to follow the same format, just like adjectives. But only difference here is using an adverb. Now, look at this picture. There you have Natalie and Pauline. So, the adverbs I'm going to use are again rapidement and lentement. So, my sentence is, Nathalie court aussi rapidement que Pauline. Natalie runs as faster as Pauline. I'm talking about the equality. Nathalie court aussi lentement que Pauline. Okay, so this is with aussi. I wanted to indicate the equality here with these two sentences. Okay, so now we'll go to the attention part. That means the things you have to remember. Even here, you have to be careful with this adverb. The adverb is bien. So with this adverb, even here, je chante plus bien que ma soeur. So plus bien does not exist even here. Instead of that, we have to use mieux. But here, only difference is, since we are dealing with adverbs, we don't have to worry about the gender and the number because they are not adjectives. So, je chante mieux que ma soeur. I sing better than my sister. Elle chante moins bien que mon ami. No problem. You can use that format. Moins bien exists. The other one, mon ami chante aussi bien que sa mère. So there, we are talking about the equality. I wanted to indicate the equality here. So moins bien, aussi bien, no problem. But the thing you have to remember here is plus bien becomes mieux. Okay, that is the thing you have to remember with adverbs when you are comparing with adverbs. Okay, we'll go to the third part, that means comparing with a noun. So here, children, I'm going to compare these two plates. First, l'assiette de Madeleine, l'assiette de Florine. Okay, two plates. So here, the structure, if you look at the structure, there are some slight changes. If you can see, plus, aussi, moins, plus de, plus non, plus que. But this aussi get changed into autant. When you want to indicate the equality, aussi should be switched to autant. And here, the other thing you have to remember is you cannot change the. The is invariable. So that means you cannot have de. I have lot of fruits. So you cannot say j'ai beaucoup de fruits because always that the is not changing. Okay. So look at my sentence. L'assiette de Madeleine contient plus de fruits que l'assiette de Florine. Madeleine's plate contains more fruits than Florine's. Okay, more fruits plus de. So they are, when we are pronouncing, we have to articulate this S as well. Plus de fruits que l'assiette de Florine. Here, can you see, children? Even though my frui, the word frui is plural, I have not changed my the into they. That is why I told you here the does not change. So plus the fruike l'assiette de Florine. So the other sentence, l'assiette de Florine contient moins de fruits que l'assiette de Madeleine. Moins de fruits. So now we are comparing these two children. Florence a 10 bonbons. Nadia a 10 bonbons. Both of them are having equal amounts of sweets. Now we'll see. Nadia mange autant de bonbons que Florence. So here not aussi, remember, it is autant. Nadia mange autant de bonbons que Florence. So that means Nadia eats as many candies as Florence. Now we are talking about the comparisons with verbs. So here can you see we are having two pictures. They are Flaubert travaille beaucoup, Fabien travaille peu. So Flaubert is working more, but Fabien is not much working. So there, the structure here, now see again the structure has got changed a little bit. Verb plus plus, autant, moins plus que. Still our word aussi has changed into autant here. Okay. So now we'll compare the verb travailler here. Flaubert travaille plus que Fabien. Flaubert works more than Fabien. Fabien travaille moins que Flaubert. So that means Fabien works less than, Flaubert works less than Fabien. So there we are comparing with verbs. So then I took this picture. Now here you are having a family. Papa fait le ménage beaucoup. Maman fait le ménage beaucoup. We are talking about the mother and the father here. We'll see how to compare these two people. Papa fait le ménage autant que maman. Thus, dad does the home housework as much as mom. So now here see something common that you have to remember, a common exception for all four comparisons. That is, in comparative, when we are supposed to use a subject pronoun after que, we should transform it into a pronoun tonic. That is very important because this is relevant for all four comparative forms. So look at the example. Je suis plus grande que tu. No, that becomes toi. That means you cannot use a personal pronoun, subject pronoun after que. See, after que you cannot have tu. That should be toi. You have to change it into toi. Elle a plus de livres que il. No, il does not exist. She has more books than him. If you want to say him, you have to take the tonic form, pronoun tonic. So I have given you all the subject pronouns for you. And on the other side, I have given you all the pronoun tonic. So je should be changed into moi, tu into toi, il into lui. Now can you see here? Tu has become toi. So after que, you cannot have a subject pronoun. Instead of that, you should have transform that into a tonic. So that is something common that you have to remember regarding all five comparative forms. Now, we are going for the second part of the lesson, the superlative form of the lesson. So far we were comparing things. Now, we are talking about the superlative. So even they are in French, we can talk about superlative in all these four forms, like with an adjective, with an adverb, with a noun, with a verb. So here we'll just go through these structures. Now it is easier since you know comparative format. The first one, le superlatif avec les adjectifs. Superlative with adjectives. Look at the structure, children. Here, earlier with comparative, we had only this part, plus, aussi, moins, plus adjective, plus que. But here now, you are having the articles, definite articles, because we are dealing with the superlative form. The best. She is the prettiest. Likewise, you need these articles. So apart from that, we need to omit some parts here. We don't need OC here because we are not comparing two things. So we don't need OC. And we don't need K because we are not comparing prettier than. No, we don't need this than part. So in that case, now we have this format with superlative form when we are comparing with adjectives. So we are going to compare these children, Natalie, Pauline, Rose, et Fleur. So the adjective even here I have used is grande. How to use grande? Rose est la plus grande de la classe. Can you see Rose? She's the tallest. How to say that? So according to the format, you have to find out. Now we are talking about Rose and we are dealing with an adjective. So we have to be careful with the gender. So there you have to select la. Plus grande with the adjective, you have to agree with the gender. Rose est la plus grande de la classe. If you want, you can say Rose est la plus grande fille de la classe. Rose is the tallest in the class. Other side, Fleur est la moins grande de la classe. When you are talking about Fleur, she is the least tallest in the class. Rather than telling shortest, I have used grande and I have used this format. Fleur est la moins grande with E de la classe because Fleur is feminine. Then we will go to the exceptions. That means even here, just like comparative, you have to be careful with bon. Can you remember plus bon became meilleur with comparative? Even here, I thought of comparing these two people, Messi et Ronaldo. So here, Messi et Ronaldo sont les plus bons footballeurs du monde. So we know they are football players. So they are the best football players in the world. So I have used Messi et Ronaldo sont les plus bons. Les plus bons with comparative, it didn't match. So we have to use meilleur. Even here, the same rule you have to follow. Plus bon becomes meilleur. Best football players in the world. Okay, so I have shown you the other possible ways that you could have meilleur. I mean, if it is masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, and feminine plural. So that is with bon. You have to remember as an exception. Look at the other example. La malbouffe est la moins bonne alimentation du monde. Junk food is the worst food in the world, but rather than using mauvais, I have used bon. La moins bonne. So that is okay, no problem. So the other attention part is with the adjective mauvais. We had the same trouble with comparative as well. Here, les moustiques sont les plus mauvais insectes dans le monde. Les plus mauvais, instead of that, we could use pire. Les plus mauvais, les pires insectes dans le monde. Mosquitoes are the worst insects in the world. Here you are having the other formats. The other sentence, je suis l'étudiant le moins mauvais de la classe. There are no problem. I'm the least bad student in the class. So now we are going for adverbs, superlative with adverbs. Look at the structure, children. It got changed now because of these articles. So there you don't have le, la, l'apostrophe, le. Why? Because with adverbs, we are not talking about the gender and the number difference. So always, even though it is masculine or feminine, you have to use le. So I'm going to talk about this kid. Alex est l'étudiant qui parle le plus clairement dans la classe. Le plus clairement. Alex is the clearest speaking student in the class. Okay, le plus clairement. So you have to use le, plus, and the adverb. Then le train est le mode de transport qui roule le moins bruyamment. Okay, le moins bruyamment. So you are having le, moins, and the adverb. So that is with an adverb. Even there, can you remember the exception we followed with comparative? You have the same thing here with superlative as well, the adverb bien. So, tous les deux parlent bien français. Both of them speak French very well. Mais c'est Paola qui parle le plus bien. But Paola speaks the best. So, le plus, no, le mieux. C'est Paola qui parle le mieux. Okay, so that is the exception. Other than that, the rest, le moins bien, that exists. See, c'est cet athlète qui court le moins bien. Le moins bien, no problem, you can use it. Only problem was le plus bien became le mieux. Véronique est l'étudiant qui étudie le moins bien. So no problem there. With nouns, even with nouns, now see this, we will compare these girls. C'est Véronique qui a le plus de copains. So here, le. Even though Véronique is feminine, I didn't use la. Le plus de copains. Véronique has the most friends. C'est Nicolas qui a le moins de copains. Nicolas has the least friends. So with a noun, this is the way we should have our superlative form. The superlative avec les verbs. With verbs, how do we have to form a sentence in superlative? So here, c'est Marie qui mange le plus dans la classe. It's Marie who eats the most in the class. So even though Marie is feminine, I didn't use la here because we are dealing with verbs. So it's Marie who eats the most in the class. So that is all regarding the things that we have to learn comparative forms in French language. I think now you have an idea about the lesson comparatives in French. Now, after learning these things, you have to go for exercises. That means your practicing session. Okay, find some more activities, maybe from internet, maybe from your teacher, and practice. That is the important thing you need to do after learning a lesson. We'll meet up with another lesson in the future. Till then, au revoir.
Thank you for watching. iTVLK. Innovate, inform, impact.